Bonjour. This was a wallet heavy week. This was a strain on the old wallet. 19 books this week I've picked up, all to varying degrees of quality and what I think that, you know, someone trying out the comic book hobby would like, etc, etc. I'm going to start off with a brand new company. I met these guys September, October last year at the Baltimore Comic Con. They're called Visi 8 and they're based out of Indonesia, and they've launched 2 books this week. There's more to come, and this was a writer, an artist, like a creator driven book. Going to go through that. This one co-written by the co-creator of Bloodshot, no less, from the Valiant Comics days, if you remember Bloodshot and the film with Vin Diesel in it, which wasn't a patch on the comics, by the way. Met all those guys, full of enthusiasm, full of new ideas, and it's good to see another independent comic book company on the block bringing some new blood into the hobby. And this is really, just looking down now, this is really, I know a couple of weeks ago I'd done one that was just Marvel and DC heavy, you know, as if I was some shill for the big corporations. But no, I'm getting back into not that I've veered off, but into the indie publishers. This continues to be one of the most insane books I've ever read, but a lot of fun, just a lot of fun, and off the scale with weirdness. I know I've done this one before, but this continues to be, this issues for somehow within the story really did get to the crux of it. Now we had 3 issues of building up the 2 main characters, the boy-girl relationship, and that one really did get down to it with the big bad and what's been going on, you know, since the apocalypse and etc. This was a confusing one. I've been praising, and this is obviously in my top 6 this week, I've been praising these books. This one, I'm just going to talk through it with everyone. Just going to talk through it with you all, because it wouldn't be there if I didn't enjoy it. But there's something about it I can't quite work out. But perhaps we can work it out together. And this, I've got a, and I know I say I do 6 of the best, but this is the 6th one. But I've got one more. Junkyard Joe issue 5. Still continues to be. This is probably the issue before, you know, this is your penultimate issue before but nevertheless, still thrills and spills, and the pace of it is cracking. Like, the whole story has been perfectly pitched for chapters stroke issues. So if you're going to pick up the graphic novel, which I do recommend, it would be chapters. But for me, it's been a monthly comic series, and it exists on both levels, and superbly. And then obviously this is a really thick, this is like kind of straight to, this was first published in Digital Comics, I believe. I don't know the full history of it, don't know the full history of this story, of this book, but I just really like the look of it. You know what I'm like with the artwork and stuff. And so listen, it's thick, and it must go through months and months, you know, and they've decided to put it in print, and that's good for old guys like me. It's good for old comic book readers like me that can't get their head round. I'm not down on digital comics, don't get me wrong, but for me, you know, I'm beyond that now. I'm beyond going on laptops and phones and that, but I get there's a whole new world out there. But for me, it's the floppies. It's floppies and it's books. And just a quick glance, I know I don't normally do it, but just a quick glance at what else was out. I mean, World's Finest, you know, again, old Mark Waid, You know, I've been enjoying that. Darkwing Duck issue 2. You know, I love that from the beginning. From the beginning, it was only last month, but you know what I mean. This a kind of sci-fi book, another one, another indie, Liquid Kill from Whatnot Publishing, Earth Divers from what IDW. All these publishers, mate, all these publishers, Image, Boom, Whatnot, IDW. Who else we got? Is that Comet Publishing for that graphic novel? But anyway, you know where I'm going with this. Magic Order, Mark Miller. I've been really enjoying this. You know, his the Miller World take on magic and how it would affect. You know, nothing earth shattering, but a good read. Definitely a good read. This Hellboy book continues to hold my attention, but then I've been a fan from year dot. So. And you know, I've gone on about the Star Wars comics for quite a while now, but that's still a good story. Oh, Count Dooku turns up this month. Scotty Young on this one. I just love the characters in this, and I love the setup, the Strange Academy. And it's got the Dodsons. Is it both the Dodsons back on this? Yes, it is. Terry and Rachel Dodson. I did take a look at this last month. Sorry. John Romita Jr. covers. Terry and Rachel Dodson on the interiors. I don't think it'll do. It'll do for now until they can find their way with that book, really. Anyway, that's the subject for another day. We won't go there this week. Oh, come on. I have banged on about this enough, but look, I'm still showing you that isn't a cover to sell a comic book. That's one thing I will say. This will not be on my list of greatest comic covers of the week or the month or even today. You know, but you know how much I'm loving that book. And Ronin, book 2, continues to confuse and confound. Beautiful artwork by Billy Tan. I can't work out anything that's going on. Not a dicky bird. I haven't got a clue. It looks beautiful. Yeah, I don't know whether that makes me want to. It's very expensive. Very, very expensive for a black and white book. I know I went through issue 1, and I think I did say at the time, I haven't got a clue what's going on, but it looks great. But when you get to the second issue and it's still confounding, don't know. But then again, perhaps that's why I've left these two till last. But because what could you say? Yeah, they're on a more cerebral level, man, than than the stock in trade monthly edition fare that keeps us hooked to characterization and storyline in a traditional format. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of my gassing. Let's take a look at the inside of these little beauties, and we'll have a little look at what we all think is the cover of the week. Let's go. Right, so here we go. All the way from Indonesia. Met these guys at the end of last year at the Baltimore Comic Con. This is one of the first titles they're doing, and I did meet this young lady. Apologies, I'm always bad at the names. Trandika Anjani, and there was a little preview of this at their stand, and it's like it's a fable. I mean, they were almost on the at Vizier. They were almost apologetic towards me, because they obviously got the impression that I was a massive comic fan and I was expecting superhero fare, but I'm not that. And this is spot on how they explained it to me, which is like a modern age fable, a modern age fantasy fable. Yes, is it? I don't think it's directly aimed at children, but it's for everyone. It's a story for everyone. I like the fact that these stories are coming from a different neck of the woods in creativity, in aspect, in viewpoint. So it's different. It's different, whatever way they're formatting it, and this is very, very nice storytelling, by the way. You know I'm a big advocate for that. Every single week I bang on about some of the best storytelling, and this was really very adeptly done. With, you know, the villain of the piece setting the story up with the two main characters. I don't know. I just thought this was just a delicate. It's a delicate fable. You know, as much as something like this might be a striking image, I just really enjoyed I'm just really enjoying the different point of view, like the aspect of where they're coming from, a different direction they're coming from with their storytelling and their approach. And I know that old Kevin Van Hook, you know, of Bloodshot fame, is on board with these guys as well. But that doesn't mean that they're overdoing it with the trying to westernise everything. And if I could say, a little bit of character design stuff there, I love it, love all this stuff. And it is, you know, character design, it is kind of done in a children's book kind of style, but don't be put off by it. Don't be put off by that. This was a nice first issue, setting up the story, and just an intriguing storyline with this young girl and this weird creature in the forest. Obviously just a fantasy fable, and I really did enjoy it. Love the colouring on this. Absolutely love the colouring on that. And so from that, and obviously to their second comic that they published this month, I love this from the first minute I see this image. Now this is more from what we just saw there with Kara, which is a very non-traditional form of comic book storytelling. But if you hark back to graphic novels like Mouse, maybe back in the day, and then you look at something like Kara, you know, you can't underestimate a comic just because it's set in that kind of style at all. And I'm looking forward to more of it. This is your more traditional, and I will say traditional, comic book. Here we go. Nevertheless, this is still coming from a different angle. Like I say, Kevin Van Hook, co-creator of Bloodshot, Ryan Laxamana, met both of these guys. Well, I met quite a few of the guys on the team over at Baltimore, and really impressed by the enthusiasm and the quality of the content they're producing. And this isn't all as it seems, because I was wondering where this was going to go. From the preview that I saw, I was wondering where this typical, you know, Godzilla type character or monster approach is going to go. But they brought it back down to earth suddenly in one panel, and it progresses along. Then we've gone to a family here witnessing what's going on, and then it's changing. I know that's in the title, the Changeling, and then we've got this new character, or I'm saying new character, this is the main character, this guy and his cat. And again, I like the fact it's almost, you know, where it's that sector of the world, let's just say that coming from the part of the world that these guys are based in, I believe they're based in Jakarta. So, you know, you've got an Indonesian based comic company that are using creators from that neck of the woods. This is bringing a really different flavour to everything we expect, like the format. They're changing the format. I don't know whether they've done that unsuspectingly, like unwittingly, but they are definitely, with these two books, definitely changing the format of what comes. But nevertheless, good storytelling. Good storytelling, good characters, a good mix. And again, this is intriguing. You know, I've done the character designs. I love all this stuff. I really do like this artist style. Both these issues have given us two intriguing storylines, and it goes beyond the whole Godzilla setup for it, or you know, whatever you want to call it. They do allude to it in the introduction to this comic, but this it's unexpected, and I'm purposely not showing the last couple of pages of these two comics. Not that they are you know, giving you twist endings or particularly massive cliffhangers, but both of these comics, please give them a try. They are intriguingly different. You know, it's off the beaten track, not what you expect from the normal, you know, American stroke European stroke, you know, Western fare. And talking of Western fare, this I think I've done an issue of this before. This is one of the maddest, weirdest books. The art style I love. The art style suits this storyline completely. You might at first glance think it's cartoony, but it really suits the storyline, and the fact that these cannibals, this guy here has got involved with these cannibals. And the storyline goes from there. I can't, you know, beyond that. Either get these issues. This is issue 4, and then you've got the Yeehaw Brigade going after them. This is the chief of police. You know, there's a guy saying, you know, we need to be deputised for this. He's saying, no, we're not arresting anyone. We go. So you know it's all going to kick off in the next issue or two, and it's going to come to, you know, a blood-curdling climax. And there's, you know, there's comedic scenes here, and it's it's really. There's even a burgeoning love scene here with this, you know, this character is one of the cannibals that, you know, he could have been dead in the first issue, but somehow he's embroiled within this gang of characters, and you know, this is almost a romance. This is almost a romance scene. So, you know, it's just this is a good read. This is a good read. It is so fun. It's off the scale fun. It really is. In a way, this is kind of like a setup issue for more and more mayhem to come. This was an unexpected end to the issue, to be fair, which also made me enjoy it more. You know, I didn't quite see this coming. There is still mystery. There is still mystery aplenty here. Look, I mean, do I have to say any more? Do I have to say any more than that? Yeah, just like I say, I have recommended this before, but give this one a go. It's issue 4. If you don't give it a go with you know, and try and pick up the issues, which I do appreciate, no one is as crazy as me and wants to get all the individual issues. Look out for this. But also, what I've noticed is he's done a lot, and this is the first thing of theirs I've picked up. But he's done. Oh, these are all. Here we go. there's another couple here, plastic and vinyl, and ride, which I will. You know what? I'm going to try and chase all these down. I'm going to try and chase all these down because I'm really impressed with the. Unless these are all the same, unless it's all the same shtick, then it might be a bit tiresome. But I'm going to try them. I'm going to try them. Like I say, recommend that. It's not exactly a wraparound cover though, is it? I still say Image are wasting this back page here. This really is your opportunity to pick up, like the you know, I know it's traditional comic book or book publishing, but give people a teaser on this back page. I'll tell you what, you know, you'd be doing yourself a favour. You'd be doing yourself a favour. And another indie book that I've really been enjoying. This one takes a different turn, like Plush this week, or this month, should I say. This is a book that's taken an unexpected turn that I didn't see coming, and the post-apocalyptic storyline that they've been going on. This is all backstory. This is all from the book that, you know, this is all like excerpts of the book on top of the Bible that this group of people have got to follow, and then it goes back into it comes up to present times, and then back, you know, it twos and fro's, and this is the big bad. This is the big bad of the story, and these people here. And I'm keeping it vague. I'm keeping it vague because it is just a really intriguing story. I like the way they've kind of done this Boy Scout setup, and they've got these weird badges. Like within the storyline, there's like they can only get the person that's got their torture badge to do certain jobs. You know, archery, woodworking, manhunting, man roping, butchery, punching, spearing, torture advanced, you know, skinning. I just thought that was quite funny. And she's left Massio behind, who was the boy that him and her seem to be. There seems to be a burgeoning romance there, but they allude to the fact that she's kind of on the run because she's had a relationship, a same-sex relationship, and this isn't allowed in this puritanical new world, or this new world order that this old woman here in the wheelchair wants to propagate in the post-apocalyptic times. So look, and she's kind of, you know, here we go, slap yourself hard, you know, these rangers, look, and tell me what ruined the world. Look, progress, diversity, indecency, gender non-conformity, blah blah blah. You know, in and of itself, I'm surprised this page isn't being jumped on by YouTubers saying how woke comics are, but this page isn't what the story is about. It's a character-driven story. It's very nicely done, and yes, it has got a viewpoint on the world that we live in now, but that's what good science fiction does. So there is nothing wrong with this. The backstory is done it's handled very sweetly, actually. I don't mean that in a patronising way. It's done naturally. You know, they're not pushing some kind of same-sex or lesbian agenda with this backstory. It is just really nicely done, and I'm really enjoying this book. Love, great art style. I know I've said it before in that Euro, you know, that kind of Euro, that old European kind of stuff that you would see in heavy metal and that back in the day. And yeah, really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. So that's another one. We're up to issue 4 of that. So again, if you don't want to pick up, I can't imagine that any of these are going to be bad to pick up if you wanted to chase them down. But you know, if you're just into graphic novels, that's fine. That's fine. Right. This is an intriguing one. Must say it's a glorious cover. Very glorious cover, because I love the way they've done it. I know it's, you know, it's Clayface, but they've done it in a kind of how the artist has managed to get this this X, that's the name that I'm not even, should I even bother with that? You know what I'm like, even with the most basic names. But how the artist has managed to make this look like plasticine. I think that's very, very, very nicely done. They always make, this is a nice production from DC, all these One Bad Day books. And what I did like is the format of doing it in, but they didn't overdo it in doing it as a screenplay for a TV or a film. This would be the format, internal apartment day. So, but what I think it does though from there is, you know, and they carry on the motif with this Clayface story, with the format of the screenplay as you would professionally format it. But what I think this means is that if you aren't familiar with that format, then, you know, smash cut to and all that, if you aren't familiar with that screenplay format, then it loses it. I think it's guilty of a bit of style over content. I like the way they was doing the Killing Joke. So Clayface basically takes over this actor's persona, or this actor's appearance, because he gets the part in the Killing Joke production, and he doesn't. So here's Clayface, but the director says, like, oh, you messed that up. You know, he's having a conversation with him after he shoots the scene. Look, cut, and he's going, what? Hold on, what are you doing? This isn't what you did in the audition. So this is Clayface obviously trying to fake it, which I found really intriguing. I found it a very interesting. But I'm not sure whether it's, you know, then the casting director comes in that's giving him a chance, and she's angry, but then he has to overtake her. It's kind of like a damning indictment of, you know, begin montage and all this. I enjoyed this, but I'm not sure if anyone that hasn't seen or hasn't had any interaction with behind the scenes of making TV or films, which I've had very limited experience of. I don't know whether any of this is going to matter. And I know Batman hasn't got to be in it all the way through. So that's why I think I'm a bit confused. The artwork, I mean, this kind of thing is stunning. I thought this was really, you know, for how Clayface kind of operates. This is very, you know, it's great stuff. Very, very nice. But again, is it overdone? I don't know. Is it the most interesting story? Unless you've ever had any experience, or you've got a viewpoint on trying to make it in Hollywood, I don't know whether this story is going to mean anything to you. Like, I don't think you're going to care enough, because this is about trying to make it big and how fake people are in Hollywood, you know, in any, you know, in this profession, and trying to make it. Yeah, so I don't know, you know, Clay voiceover and all that. It's nice, but it's different. But yeah, I don't know whether it was overdone. Don't know whether it was overdone, and I don't know whether it requires. The artwork is superb, and the colouring is superb. All of this, look, this just this page. I mean, that's glorious. This is all glorious stuff. I think all I'm doing is asking questions out loud. If anyone, you know, picks this book up, I would recommend it, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a satisfying read. You know, all this stuff in the rain is nice. You know, Clayface isn't exactly a fan of the rain, but I'm just not sure it works. And like I say, unless you know, you've got a tiny insight or a bit of research into the inner workings of Hollywood, and then Batman just seems to come along right at the end and suck him up into his thing and his capture machine and his capture vessel, and that's it. Black, fade to black. But anyway, it is nicely done. The artwork is superb, and I'm not saying it's a bad story. Maybe it's just the formatting of it. Maybe. But get back to me on that one. If anyone wants to comment on that, I really would be interested in seeing what other people thought of this, because these books have been really good. The Dr. Freeze one. Oh, they're so good. I can't remember them anyway. It's getting late. Come on, I've got to do a bit of Junkyard Joe. I've got to. And I can't show too much of this, to be fair, because if you're going to pick up the graphic novel of it, I really don't want to spoil it too much, but you know, this kind of says it all with the threat. But if you followed all these characters all the way through, this is the family. Obviously Junkyard Joe. If you followed this all the way through, here's the big bad, and I tell you what, he properly is a big bad. You know, the bodies start stacking up since he's first turned up. This is the creator of Junkyard Joe, who's trying to do the right thing, and it all goes wrong. You know, here's the kid. You know, this is all classically done stuff. It really is. The thing I like about it is the fact that he is averse to the guns. So the baddies have got the guns, but nothing in this story is relying on that. And just on that point, it was nice with that with Kara from Visi 8 earlier on, which I forgot to mention, where it was a story that just doesn't involve guns all of the time, just to get people in and out of storylines. Obviously this is required in this story. It's a very modern take on, you know, is the dad of the kids that have gone on the run with Junkyard Joe. Actually, when I saw this, I thought he might have been dead. So, you know, but here's me getting involved in the comic on that level. I thought, oh no, kind of thing. You know, he's having a flashback to Nam here, which is, you know, it's just nicely handled. You know, deftly handled. You know, Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, best thing. They're both, like, I know I've said it before, they're two creators at the top of their game. And I will probably kind of just get to, you know, there's three hunters here that old Junkyard Joe has already taken their guns off them because he's had his flashback and punched them in the face, so they're already having a bad day. But then the masked guy catches up with them and it's like poof, poof, poof. You know, the sound of a silencer, like put, put, put. That's free, you know. And then next panel, the family and Junkyard Joe. Again, storytelling. That is sequential artwork right there. And then this is the setup for the last issue. We've got the Pentagon at the top, and we've got Jeopardy there. Great book. And by now you know I can't recommend that enough. So that's that one. And like I say, this is a thick, so that was 6 of the best. This is something a little bit different, I know. And apparently, I didn't know that this first come out, this storyline by this story by Max Swift come out in a digital format. I don't know anything about it. I haven't. All I want to do is praise this book on the merits of what I've got. So it is the furry animal storyline. Look how beautiful this artwork is. I defy anyone to tell me that this artwork isn't beautiful. You do better. You do better if you think that stuff like this, characterising, making different characters out of different mice for a start. That's just for starters. You know, guys and girls like this make it look easy. The art, the colouring, the lettering, everything. It makes it. They make it look easy. They make it look easy, and I will just skip through pages. Look, it's such a modern format. It's almost like they're stills from an animated movie, which I really like. I really like this modern. This modern look. Again, you can't tell me that don't look like a still, like a cell from an animated film, like back in the day, not computer animated crap now. Different characterisation, just the shape of an ear, the shape of an eye. Yeah, I've really, and don't get me wrong, I have not read this all the way through. I've only got, you know, a few dozen pages through. And this is a big tome, but I am enjoying it already. It can't let me down that bad. It can't let me down that bad from the bit I've read. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting it here. I'm really, you know, this kind of. I just thought this is really stunning artwork, worthy of a read. I don't know. You know, I'm just, these are even pages I haven't seen yet. You know, yeah, these are guys and girls at the top of their game. Even the little details like this on the ear for our main character. Now it's foxes. Look, this is classic stuff. Absolutely classic stuff. Oh, now there's a snake. Like I say, I'm hopping. Sorry if I'm not. I'm trying to do the best I can, but obviously don't want to break the spine of it. So if I haven't shown you so far how classic a book this is, then I don't know what I can do. Look at that. Very, very nice. It deserves a massively wide audience, books like this, and I know it won't get it because still we are bogged down in the superhero, in the comic world, and I hope we get back to how it used to be in like the late 80s, early 90s, when indie stuff was kind of coming back through again, and I think we will get there. And look at that, that's beautiful. What a beautiful page. Look, it may have been a cover. I don't suppose there were covers because this was digital, so it wouldn't have been a cover. I don't know what you'd call that, the splash page or what you'd call it. Gorgeous stuff. Published by Image. Oh, I just looked at this Skybound Comics, so it's Image again. Image Rule. Now, not cover of the week. I mean, obviously the cover is, you know, it does what it says on the tin, I think, there. But for cover of the week, well, that for the artwork, I've got to say, for the plasticine, the feel, it's almost like you want to, obviously always a Junkyard Joe, there's something really ethereal about the covers that Gary Frank has created for this comic. But as far as covers go, and you know what I've said before about, in the old days the covers would sell the comic. Well, now that is going to sell a comic, Darkwing Duck, and I did enjoy that. I know I've done issue 1, this is issue 2. I know I've done issue 1, so that's why I didn't go back into something, you know. The Liquid Kill I might do this next week when I've got my head round the story, because there were so many books out this week. I kind of had to pick, my favourite 6 pretty quickly out of nearly 20 books, but as a cover, that is a sci-fi cyberpunk cover that is going to attract me to the book. And I thought this was a clever cover, because on first glance it's kind of like the same old thing, but when you're looking at it and it looks like a date night, check please, something's going wrong. Batman, so this is such an intriguing cut. You've got a batarang here in the table, Robin and Supergirl on a date from hell. There's fire in the table here. I don't know whether that's a bit of flambe going on or what it is, but I thought that was a really nicely intriguing modern. Old Dan Moore's artwork is always superb, but I just thought the idea for this cover, the wine is spilled. It might be that's on fire actually, now I'm thinking about it, but nevertheless, I just liked, for me, my focus was on these two, check please, batarang, and like the two disapproving parents. Look at Batman. I know he's always scowling, but it's almost like, a disapproving parent, that's dad, that's I don't know, I just like the dynamic of that. Just like the dynamic of that cover. I just thought that was a great cover to sell a comic. But I do think Liquid Kill, and I know I haven't done the interior of the comic, sorry I'll keep knocking the camera. I do think it's between these two this week. Let me know what you think, if you disagree, or if you bought something that I haven't covered. And on that note, I will bid everyone adios.